Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing something just a little bit different, and that's because of a trend that I have recently been seeing on TikTok, which if you're chronically online like I am, you may have also seen this trend, but the trend that I'm talking about is creating a personal curriculum. And I'll put just a few examples on screen. So as you can see, lots of people are doing this. And the main purpose of creating a personal curriculum almost feels like instead of romanticizing your life, we're kind of academicizing. Okay, that's definitely a made up word, but it kind of feels like we're romanticizing academia and we're taking some of the pressure out of actually being enrolled in classes, like having assignment due dates and having final projects. And we're taking the goals that we want to achieve in our lives and we're putting it into a format that most people are really comfortable and familiar with. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might already know that I work in higher ed and I am a professor at a college. So teaching classes and creating syllabi really isn't something that's new to me, but I've never considered applying this concept to my life personally. And to be honest with you, as soon as I saw this, I knew it was a trend that I was going to have to hop on because I am someone who just thrives in an academic environment. I will be the first to admit it, I'm a big freaking nerd. So when it comes to the structure of school curriculum and having assignments to do, I'm going to do a lot better with adhering to my goals than just saying it's a goal or putting it in my journal as something that I want to achieve. Another reason why I really wanted to do this is because there have been some habits in my bullet journal that I've been wanting to do on a daily basis. For example, I've been wanting to do a language lesson at least 3 days a week, and simply having that as a habit in my habit tracker hasn't really been enough to motivate me to actually sit down at the computer and do that language lesson. So that's another reason why I wanted to give this a try to see if this is a more effective format for me personally to be able to achieve my goals and try some new things. So just like everyone on TikTok, I have made some cute little slides that have some information about my personal improvement curriculum, and I'm going to take you through them now, and I'll pop a screen recording in so that you can see these full screen and you're not straining to try to see them. All right, so let's jump into these slides. So these are just going to give a basic overview of the curriculum that I created for myself, and then I did actually make a full syllabus for my semester. So some people on TikTok have chosen just to do a month, or every month they're creating a new personal curriculum, but I wanted to take that a step further because some of these skills are things that I really want to hone over time. And so I went ahead and made a full fall 2025 semester curriculum. So starting with just my intro slide, of course, I had to make a cute little school logo. And I'm going to have 4 primary areas of focus for my fall curriculum. And I work in well-being, so I use different dimensions of wellness, and that's the same way that I just decided to base my curriculum. So the first area of focus we're going to have is intellectual well-being or intellectual coursework. And the focus in this area will be improving a skill that requires traditional study. And the skill that I've decided to study is going to be learning Japanese, which this is something that I had worked on a lot really consistently for a while. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have a big trip planned to Japan at the end of 2026. And I really would like to have more than just some basic language skills by the time that we go. So I think starting a little over a year in advance will really help to make sure I've got the basics nailed down. And then hopefully I can pick up a few more things. But that's going to be my main focus there. For my spiritual coursework, this is all going to be focused on grounding and mindfulness and really having a better sense of self and feeling connected to myself and the world around me. So for me, the things that I'll be focusing on to build that will be a daily journaling practice. Now, I do already use my bullet journal every day to keep track of my schedule and the tasks that I'm working on, but I don't do a great job of reflective journaling about my feelings and the things that I experience every day. So I want to create a second journal that is just for reflective journaling. And then I'm also going to try to establish a daily yoga practice because that's something that I have kind of wavered through having and not having over time. And I really want to establish doing that as a daily practice because I find that it really improves my mental health and well being, as well as my focus throughout the day. So, those are the two things I'm going to focus on for my spiritual coursework. And then I do also have physical coursework. So, if you watched my mid year journal reset, you will know that I've been doing the 75 hard, but I want to do a little bit more with that. Primarily because in the first 3 weeks of the 75 hard, I was following a very specific progressive weightlifting program that was only a 21-day program. So I did successfully complete it. But after that, I really have just been doing a mashup of different workouts. And while I'm enjoying the variety, I don't feel like I'm seeing the progressive gains the way that I was during that weightlifting program. So I really want to recommit to a set schedule and a progressive training plan that incorporates cardio, resistance training, and flexibility. So that's one thing I want to focus on. And then the second thing that I'm really hoping to do is to learn some more healthy recipes because I used to meal prep all the time and I find that I have a much more seamless, a much smoother week when I meal prep on the weekends and I have my food ready for the week. And so I really want to try some new recipes to encourage myself to do that again. And I really am needing to switch it up because I've gotten pretty bored with my kind of staple recipes that I have been doing. So those are the two main things I want to focus on there. And then, as kind of an added bonus, I also really want to improve my sleep hygiene. And I think that's going to be necessary for the other things that I'm wanting to achieve in this category. So I will be continuing to track my sleep in my bullet journal, but I'm also hoping to set some alarms on my phone that can help me to get ready for bed earlier, go to sleep earlier, and then actually get the sleep I need to effectively recover each night. And then the last area of focus, I kind of went back and forth on what to label this as, and I ultimately landed on emotional. And I landed on emotional coursework because that dimension of wellness also includes creative pursuits that we do as a means to be an outlet for our creativity and our feelings. And the skill that I'm wanting to focus on here is actually creating digital artwork. I recently got my iPad, of course. And one of the reasons that I got it is because I have been wanting to use Procreate to practice digital drawing and also to eventually make my own journaling stickers. So that's the area that I'm going to be focusing on for my emotional coursework. It really is more of a focus on my creativity and using that as an outlet. And I did go ahead and establish a weekly class schedule for myself because some of these things I want to do daily. They are daily practices, and then others I want to spread out throughout the week so I don't feel like they're a chore and I'm looking forward to doing them each time because ultimately I really want this to be an enjoyable experience because these are all things that I personally really want to do. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm going to do my Japanese lessons, and I am using Rosetta Stone for that. One of the best gifts I ever got was a lifetime membership to Rosetta Stone. So for a flat rate, I now have access to that for literally the rest of forever. So I can use it not only to study Japanese, but a variety of languages. And they have different programs that are broken up into 6 week courses. And technically, they're supposed to be one session per day for about 30 minutes. But I want to give myself the opportunity to break it up a little bit. And if I have time, I'll do extra study on the other days. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I want to set aside at least 30 minutes to watch tutorials and practice drawing on my iPad. So I'm going to do that 3 days a week as well. And then every day I will do my daily reflective journaling practice, a yoga practice, and I don't have any parameters set on that right now. So even if it's just 15 minutes of yoga and meditation work before bed, I would still count that as a daily yoga practice. And then I will also do my exercise every day, which will be a part of that progressive training program. And then Sundays are the only day that it's going to look a little different in terms of my physical coursework, because I definitely want to do some recovery work. So whether that's a mobility workout or something like a yin class, which meets both my yoga practice and my recovery for that day, that would be suitable. And then I also want to use my Sundays throughout the semester as my meal prep day where I try those new meals. So that's going to be it for my slides. But as I mentioned, I did also create an actual syllabus. So I will take you through how that looks now. And you'll see throughout this that I also do a lot of color coding because I just think it helps me to be really organized. And the funny thing for me about building this is that I literally took one of my real course syllabi and I just edited it for my self-improvement curriculum. So again, I had a ton of fun making this little logo and putting this together, but I went ahead and set my class meeting time. So this matches that schedule that we just saw. And for the instructor, obviously, I'm going to be the instructor, but I will be using some different resources to actually teach me some of the techniques, which we'll go over in a second. And then I went ahead and put in some course objectives and some learning outcomes for the class for myself under each of those 4 categories. And then here we actually have my tentative course schedule. So I broke up the weeks starting this coming week. So by the time you're seeing this video, this will be referring to tomorrow, September 8th. So I broke it up so that each week runs from Monday to Sunday. And I have the materials that I'll specifically be covering if I'm using a specific lesson online or on Rosetta Stone. And then I have my assignments for each week. So I think something that will be really, really impactful for me from doing this is that I'm going to take a lot more time to reflect on my progress each week than I typically would if I were just doing this in my bullet journal or on my own time. I do collect a lot of data in my bullet journal about my habits, but I don't always take time to actually reflect on them. And so, because of that, I don't feel that it's really meaningful because I'm not assessing it and trying to improve on it each month in a way that's actually structured. So, I feel like doing this personal curriculum is really going to help with that. And you'll just see that I went ahead and planned a 15-week curriculum for the fall semester. Technically, the college semester starts a little earlier and ends a little earlier than this semester that I set for myself. But because I do work in higher ed, I didn't want mine to line up perfectly with the schedule that I'm on for work because I think that would make it a lot more difficult for me as I'm going through grading assignments and doing my job. So that's why I'm starting and ending a little later. And I did also technically give myself off the week of Thanksgiving, but I probably will still continue to do my daily practices that week for sure. And then for my big kind of final project for the semester, I am going to have myself write a short reflection piece for each of the 4 facets that I will be focusing on, just detailing the progress that I made, summarizing any data that I collected from start to finish, and providing a final reflection for the semester. And the last thing that I have on my syllabus are some of the resources that I've sourced to make this possible. So I just went ahead and mentioned that I have my Rosetta Stone. And I put some of my favorite yoga YouTubers on here as part of my spiritual self improvement. Although I do also belong to a yoga studio and I practice there regularly. So it will definitely be a blend of those things, but I'm trying to find ways to make that even more accessible to me. And I am a yoga instructor, so sometimes I will just flow through my own practice really without guidance. But I find that I'm better able to kind of free my mind from my own thoughts and churning when I'm able to follow another instructor. And so that's why I probably will continue to use videos or the local studio that I go to for that daily yoga practice. And then I have my physical self improvement. So I have my personal training certification through ACE Fitness. I've had it for a long time. I also have my master's in kinesiology. So that's a lot of the background that I have for creating my own workout programs. I can kind of personal train myself in a way. And then also, I will use some different resources that I have for healthy recipes. And then lastly, I did do some research to find some Procreate tutorials that I'm hoping to use with my iPad so that I can really feel like I'm gaining new skills and improving my ability to create digital art and not kind of just floundering on a new software that I don't have any previous experience with. So, overall, I am just loving this trend online. I am so big on personal and professional development, and I feel really inspired by seeing a lot of different people establish their own self curriculums for the next month or for the semester, whatever that may be. And I'm really, really excited to jump into this. I think it's going to make a huge difference in the way that I'm able to achieve my goals for the semester. And I'm really excited to report back on how it goes. So, that being said, I would love to know if you would like to be able to follow along with each week this semester as I go through and try to complete the curriculum that I've created for myself. I am thinking that I might actually make some short form content each week just to show you my progress and show you what I'm doing. So if you're interested in seeing that as a short or a reel on Instagram, let me know because I would be happy to post that and share that with you. Or if you would prefer for me to vlog the experience over the entire semester and put it in one video, just let me know because I'd be happy to do either one. And I'd love to know if there's something that you're working towards this fall, whether that's this month or the season as a whole. I feel like we shouldn't necessarily wait until January to set new goals for ourselves. I know new year, new me, New Year's resolutions are huge, but I really think you can start at any time to work towards a new skill. So, if there's anything that you're really wanting to improve in your life in this season, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below, and maybe we can help to motivate each other to achieve our goals. But that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really, really appreciate you, and I am so happy that you're here, and I hope to see you in the next video. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!